Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Today I'm going to be delving into the brand new Kat Von D Metal Matte palette. This is the mini version. This is the holiday release from Kat Von D. I just got this in the mail today, so if you guys would like to see what this looks like on my eyes, then keep on watching. So this is the Metal Matte palette. This is the mini. I missed out on the first Metal Matte palette, so if you did or if you didn't, this is the new guy. If you flip it upside down, it says matte, and then right side up, it says metal. I love the way that Kat did the typography. As always, Kat Von D does all of her own typography, illustration. It's just beautiful. And on the inside, you have a nice big mirror. That's you right there. And beautiful, warm, smoky tones, perfect for this time of year or all year round if you're a freak for warm neutrals like myself. So let's get started. Let's just dive in, shall we? I'm gonna start off as usual with my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion, and I'm gonna put this all over my lids. Very sadly, I missed out on this first palette launch, the full-size Metal Matte palette, and I definitely wish that it were still available, but I'm too excited over the mini palette to really be that sad because it looks beautiful. You guys know the drill. I am going to be taking a large fluffy Morphe brush and setting down my eyeshadow primer, and for that I'm just going to use a mixture of the shade Bone right here and Feather, which is this more yellowy matte shade. I don't know, I think it'll look really nice, and it's looking like I was correct. I just want to set down the primer as usual. I feel like everything blends so much better when I do. Now on a Sigma E45 small tapered blending brush, I'm going to pick up the color right here called Suede. And I'm basically going to press this into my inner and outer corners of my eyes and start to build up a halo shape. I don't know what it has been lately with me and the halo, but I love it. And feel free to take this into the crease as well, because we are gonna have to have some type of crease color to blend out. Suede is looking very beautiful. Now taking a little bit of the color Oak right here, I'm gonna be stamping that on top of where we just placed Suede and kind of just pressing it into the lid and then buffing, so that way we're depositing all the color and then blending in. And if Oak ends up being a little darker than you're ready for, you can always mix Suede and Oak together, and that way you really build up the halo slowly versus going at it with a much darker color. There is some kickback with these shadows, but they're very buttery, very pigmented, and I'm not really seeing any major fallout, so that's very nice. With a big fluffy Morphe tapered blending brush, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of Suede, just a touch of it, and start buffing out where Oak meets that Suede blend and start buffing that up and out. I'm now picking up a Real Techniques, this is a base shadow brush, and I'm gonna be picking up a little bit more of Oak and really stamping the product into the inner and outer corners to intensify the halo. And then with that really fluffy, loose Morphe blending brush that has a little bit of Suede left on it, I'm gonna keep buffing. Now with the Real Techniques accent brush, this guy is super itty bitty small but perfect for going under the eye. I'm going to stamp that into a bit of Oak and Suede and start working underneath the lower lash line. And we're just mimicking what we did up top, focusing on those inner and outermost corners of the eye. And then after you set the base with a mixture of the two, I go back in with Oak by itself and just intensify it further. I'm also gonna take that Morphe brush under the eye and just really lightly buff those colors in. Now on that Sigma E45 tapered blending brush, I'm going to be picking up a little bit of the darkest shade in the palette, Velvet, right here. And just on the very tip of the brush, I'm going to start layering that over the top of where we put Oak, just to add like a nice purpley smoke to the eye. And then of course I'm using that accent brush to pick up a little bit more of velvet and run that underneath the eye. And we always want to mirror what we did up top. And I'm really not afraid of a good low smoke. So now with a really small kind of pencil brush, but a fluffier pencil brush, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of a mixture of velvet and suede and buff quite low under the eye. I really want this look to be nice and grungy. So I'm really not afraid of going a bit lower, but making sure to blend it in as well. I'm just using that initial really big brush that I used to set. And you can always clean up with concealer if you go too low for your comfort level, but I'm now going to pick up my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer. This is in the shade Light Ivory, and I'm going to cut out a middle crease halo kind of situation. And for that, I'm just using a nice synthetic angled brush. This is my Anastasia Beverly Hills number 15 brush. Once I've cut my crease, I am now going to be going in with the color Raw Power right here. I'm picking this up on my finger. It's a gorgeous color, and I'm just going to push it right on top of that concealer. It's such a gorgeous standout color, and I'm just going to pick up a little bit more Raw Power on my finger and pat it over top of where Oak and Suede and Velvet are, just to blend those edges further. And if you experience a little bit of fallout, you can take a fluffy powder brush and just sweep it away. I'm going to take a little bit more of Raw Power now and place it underneath my eye, just at that halo point. With the eyes looking super smoky now, the last step is to pick up the shade Thunderstruck, which is a favorite of mine. I am very, very happy that it made it into this palette because mine just smashed the other day, which they're just so buttery and pigmented, these Metal Crush shadows, that they can break a little easily, so I'm happy to have it in a palette. And I'm just going to be placing this on the inner corner of my eye. Thunderstruck does not mess around. You can of course make this a lot less smoky, but I just love a super, super blown out smoky eye. Off camera, I'm just going to apply my mascara and my House of Lashes Boudoir Light pair, and I will be right back to talk with you guys about this palette. Okay, so I've applied lashes, lipstick, so now I can properly chat about the Metal Matte palette. I absolutely adore this palette. I think it's so beautiful, and I honestly think that Kat Von D's formulation of eyeshadows is one of the best. I've never really been disappointed with it, and I think that consistency with a brand is super important when shopping. There are a lot of eyeshadow palettes that Kat Von D does that are artist palettes, and I think that this palette is kind of separate in a sense because it's really focused to someone who is artistic and creative and wants, you know, these really beautiful bold colors, but it realistically will use, you know, warm neutrals. And I think it's just really genius to have a limited color palette, to have mattes and shimmers, equal amounts of both. I can see this being a really amazing holiday present for someone. I can see this being a really awesome travel palette because it is so tiny, and I think it's pretty slim for what you're getting in it. There is a mirror, which I cannot tell you how much that upsets me, honestly, when I go and purchase an eyeshadow palette and there's no mirror. It's the difference between making your palette $5 more expensive. I'm pretty sure we're all looking for that mirror. But this does retail for $39. I think that for the accessibility of these colors and how buttery and smooth and amazingly they apply, I think it's an amazing deal. I think if you missed out on the original Metal Matte palette, then this one is definitely something to pick up. I'm pretty sure all of the Metal Matte shades are currently permanent, so if there's one that really is a standout to you, I think you can find it in a single Metal Crush eyeshadow pan like this one. If you guys enjoyed my tutorial using the Metal Matte palette, then please give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you are in the know of the new content that I'm putting out, and don't forget to check out my social media links down below because I update those every single day. I hope you guys are having a good one, and I will speak to you all in my next video. Bye!